Welcome back to Galebear's Repairs. Today we're going to tackle changing the oil and filter on this 2010 Jeep Patriot. It's got the 2 litre TDI engine fitted. So we'll see how we get on with that today. And if you've enjoyed what you've seen and you found it useful and it's given you the confidence to carry out the task yourself, could you please like, subscribe and share. Right, let's get on with it, eh? Okay, so we're going to do the oil and filter change on this 2 litre turbo diesel Jeep Patriot. Well, the first things we do, pop off the engine cover, get rid of that, get that out of the way, put that to one side, and that exposes the oil filter housing down here and where we can refill. So I'll undo the cap now, so that when we drain the oil it allows air in to allow the oil out. Right, next thing, we'll get down below and we'll drain the oil out. Right, so down under the front of the car now, we have to move this big tray in order to drop the oil out from under the car. There's no hole in it, that's just a securing bolt. There's about 6 or 7 10mm bolts, 6mm threads, 10mm heads. So I'll get that down and then we can drop the oil out. Right, so what we've got to do to get the oil out of the sump to renew the oil is put a spanner on the sump plug, 19mm, give him a little crack. There he goes. He's cracked off, ready to drain the oil. So I'll get my wash and up bowl now and we'll drain it into there. And we'll just spin this one off by hand, get ready for it to come out everywhere. So here we go, get ready for the money shot. There he goes. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes now, the oil draining. It's essential that you put the sump plug back in now. Don't forget it, or else you'll be pouring brand new oil in the engine and it'll be running out the bottom. So do it now while you're here. That's what you can expect to see. It's effectively, it's just a bolt, that's all. But it's a sump plug. I'm not sure if this one's magnetic. There was no particles on the end of the plug. Some of them are magnetic and you may get metal deposits from engine wear sticking on there. So if you see that, take some advice. Seek some advice and see if you've got any engine wear. Right, we'll put the sump plug back in. We'll tighten him up. That's him tight. And then it's essential you give it a wipe around, because when we're filling it up and we want to check for leaks, we want to make sure that it's clean now so that we can actually see any leaks. So just a bit of brake cleaner to spray on there. So then when we put the new oil in, we'll be able to see if there's any fresh leaks around that plug. Right, let's go up top. We'll change the oil filter and we'll refill it with oil. Right, so here's the oil filter housing there. It's got a big nut drive on the top of it. I've got a feeling they're like upper 20mm, something else. But I'm just going to remove this electrical plug first. Right, so we get a little bit of jiggery pokery action on the electrical plug there. Get that in and give him a pull. There it goes. So we disconnect that one, push that out of the way, and we'll take that one out of its bracket. It's just cradled in a bracket there. Get him out of the way, just push him out of the way there. So that gives us a bit of access now. Next thing I want to do is take off that bracket. It's a 10mm socket. There he goes. So that's that out of the way. So now we've got a bit of clear access there now. So now I can get a socket onto the top, the cap there. I've got a 32mm socket on an extension. He's 32, so we'll just crack him off. There we go. And we just wind out the top of the filter housing. And there he is. And we'll take the lid off. So there comes the filter housing lid. There's a rubber seal there that needs to be replaced around there. So now we'll lift out the filter itself. He just sits in this housing. We'll just hook him out, and there's our oil filter. So I'll put him on the bench so we can have a look. Here's the old filter. There's nothing in there particulate wise, can't see any nasties. The new filter comes with the O-ring on the end there, and it comes with a new O-ring for the filter, for the filter lid. So we just hook that one, the old one, out. There he is. A little bit of jiggery pokery and out he comes. So there's our old O-ring, and then we've got to fit our new O-ring. But I'll give this housing a clean up with brake cleaner first before we do any of that. Give it all a nice little scrub up. And then we just press that filter in. He goes in that way, and you've got to feel that O-ring just click into the bottom of the filter housing on the engine. Press in place, and then we screw that back on. All right, let's get on with it. All right, so I've given my housing a wash down with brake cleaner. It's all clean on the inside, it's nice and dry. So the new seal, it doesn't go right in the very end. It goes in here. It goes in that one. You would think it would go in the very end, but it doesn't. So I don't know if that's picking it up. So it goes in that track there, not in that track. So all we do, push that over. Make sure it's not, so we roll it into place. And then we've got to make sure it's not kinked. Make sure it sits nice all the way around. So there he is, look. He's not kinked, he's nice and even all the way around. And then before refitting it, we just smear a little piece of oil, or a little bit of oil around the seal, just to lubricate it so it doesn't pick up and pull out. So we want this to glide in. We want it to go in with the threads as we're doing it up. We want it to go in and not drag. So we always just smear a little bit of oil around there. All right, let's get on with it and fit it. Oh, here's the part number that I've used. And there's the oil filter part number that I've used. All right, let's chuck it in. All right, so we've got the oil filter. I'm just going to put a bit of oil on my... I'm going to put a bit of oil everywhere, I mean. Just going to put a bit of... that's spilt everywhere. A bit of oil on the end seal there. And then we'll slide them in. And then this one's got to press down into place. Got that O-ring. So we just give him a... There he goes, look. So he's in there nicely. That's that done. And then we've got our cap. I've got a bit of oil on my hand. And not everywhere. And we just put some oil around that seal. We don't want it to pick up and drag as we're installing it. So that's that. That's all now lubricated. Slip the lid down in. Sit it on top of the filter. Now this housing is made out of plastic, so make sure you've got your threads. You're not forcing the threads and stripping them. And when you're getting your socket, make sure you use that 32mm socket, because anything that's anything a bit loose, it'll strip it. So here's the 32, and we just nip him down, making sure we can't see that seal squidging out or anything. So all I'm going for here, there, a firm nip. I'm not going any more than that. We'll just check for leaks on run up. I'll give it a spray down with some brake cleaner now. Give it a clean up so that if there is any leaks, we can identify them when we're running the engine. I'm not going to film putting the plug back on and the bracket. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'll do that off camera. So the next step is to fill the oil. This car takes 4 litres of 530, and that's on the 2-litre TDI engine, the Volkswagen engine, fitted to this Jeep Patriot. So we'll start smacking it in. Alright, so we'll dip the oil, see whether it needs a top up. Yeah, just a little bit more. So on this dipstick, all we're after is between that section there. That's the minimum, that's the maximum. So that's what we're after. Just dipped him, he's right on the max. And then when we run him up, it'll fill up the new oil filter that's fitted. It'll fill that up. It'll gulp a little bit and it'll take some around the engine. So we'll run it for a couple of minutes and then we'll recheck the oil. Okay, so we've changed the oil, we've changed the filter, so we're just going to start them up, get the oil circulating around the engine and fill up the oil filter. And then afterwards we can recheck and top if required. Right, so there we go. I'll now check I'll let it sit for 5 minutes or so, recheck the oil level. I won't do that on camera. If it needs any, I'll just give him a little top up. I won't film that, so it's not required, but adjust him to 3/4 to max on the stick and that's adequate. I'll get you off the mount now and we'll check for leaks with it running. Okay, we're going to check for leaks around the oil filter housing. I don't know if you can hear me properly. There's the oil filter housing, and we would have leaks around here, and it's bone dry, look. So we've got no leaks at all. Around there, nothing leaking out. The engine's up to speed, it's been running for 10 minutes now. So we'll now duck underneath, we'll duck down below and check the sump plug, make sure there's no leaks on that. Okay, so we're down below now, it's running, it's up to temperature, it's nice and warm. And there we have the sump plug. Nothing at all. Absolutely dry. So we can call that a successful oil change there. I'll re-dip the oil and then we're done. Right, so there we go. We've just done the oil and filter change on this 2010 Jeep Patriot. It's got the Volkswagen 2-litre TDI engine fitted to it. It's the 140 horsepower turbo diesel. It's quite a basic task, as you can see. Good idea to get rid of your oil at an approved oil recovery place at the local recycling centre, etc. So that's about the lot. If you found it useful today, what I've covered in the video, could you please like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you on the next video.